let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play. We see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sully Squad. It's been a few weeks, but lots going on in sports, Philly sports, and professional sports. I mean, all over the place. We got we had an NBA draft, an NHL draft. Sixers added another guard, but they still need a big guy. But I like the pick of the guard, so we'll get into some of that. Flyers get a tall 6'7" defenseman, and all kinds of Flyers rumors going on. Who they might trade for, who they might sign. So we'll get a lot of Flyers talk. Of course, NBA news. All kinds of trades and movements in the NBA. I was reading something today. Draymond Green of the Warriors opted out of his contract. Apparently, they're making a play for LeBron. So that, if they could get Anthony Davis, so that would be quite interesting to see, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, try to make one old man run out there in the West. You know what I mean? And and then of course Giannis was traded to the Heat since we were on last. So all kinds of NBA stuff. But I think the biggest story, I think, of teams that are playing right now is the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies are hot. Derek Hill made one of the greatest catches I think I've ever seen. You guys see that catch on Friday night?
Live. Yeah. You were texting back and forth, remember?
Dude, it was on one of the best catches I've ever seen. So
timed it perfectly.
So I guess we will. I guess we'll start off with the Phillies. I mean, my God, wasn't that long ago that we were wondering if they were even going to punt on the year, and now all of a sudden they're 3 games out. And here's my man Eddie Prather says, "Hi everyone, the Phillies are hot and the Braves are cold like Antarctica." Yeah, I hear you on that, Eddie. And he also says Golden State wouldn't be a threat. I'm kind of with you there, Eddie. I think that would be one of those things that looks great on paper, but then you realize that it's not 5 to 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, Philadelphia Phillies, 3 games out. I mean, Braves struggling. Phillies are 7-3 in their last 10. The Braves are 3-7. The series in Washington in particular was extremely exciting. I mean, what did they have? Three consecutive comeback wins?
Yeah, 9 runs with 2 outs, 7 runs in
down to the last strike.
2 outs. Yeah. Stott and guys that we all bashed came up and did big things.
That's why we should continue on bashing the Phillies, because then they'll do well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and speaking of that series, I mean, it's a wonder any of the Nationals relievers can even walk, because their knees are probably so sore from blowing the games. I mean, Christ, man, they blew. They've blown more games than God any other.
2022 Phillies, remember that?
What's that?
Yes,
I think they were far worse than the 2022 Phillies, Joey.
That was bad.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was the. No, you know what it was? It was the COVID year. I think it was the COVID year. They blew like 50 million games because we would have made the playoffs, and then they traded for that one asshole from Boston. I forget who it was. They traded what's his face? Pivetta. They traded Pivetta to Boston. And they got a couple relievers who totally sucked, and those guys just blew everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so the Phillies playing great ball under Don Mattingly. I think they're 38-18 since Mattingly took over. And now we have a big series coming up. They're hosting Pittsburgh. It's the second time. The second time they're off this Friday again because of the World Cup. So the Phillies have a 4-game with at home against Pittsburgh, and then I believe they play the Royals for 3 in Kansas City. So interesting week. But Jeff, like, what? I guess I'll start with you. Like, what do you think the biggest takeaway from this Phillies run is?
In all honesty, I mean, obviously it's been great to watch and stay to the end of the game and everything like that. So saying, they're never out of it, but it just exposed that we need bullpen help.
Yeah, I agree.
More than a bat, bullpen help.
We need a bat, bullpen. Yep.
We need them, but we need bullpen for it. We need to really do it because remember what was really pretty much Dombrowski did in the beginning, before the season started, almost revamped the bullpen.
Yeah.
The bullpen sucks.
It does. It really does, because me and Joey were going back and forth, Jeff. Kirkring, he's so up and down, man. It's him, not only him, Alvarado. I mean,
yeah, he makes me nervous, Alvarado.
Yeah.
What you're going to get each night.
Yeah. We don't have, like you said, you want consistency.
Yeah.
You're
going to get hit every once in a while. You're not perfect, but still, you just don't know what you're going to get. And then, I mean, it showed with this. With I forget the guy's name. How you say it? Argles or whatever his name is. That pitcher.
Argle.
He was doing fine. Then they put the bullpen in, and the game's. They lose the game. It's not his fault. It's just these guys with the B letters in their name suck. To put it mildly.
Yeah. Here's.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
I'm wondering if we bring up Brian Dela Cruz, guys. Like, you know what I mean? He's doing good in the minor leagues, but
yeah, that can't hurt. I mean, I know that years ago they said you don't bring a player up too soon because if he doesn't do well, it could hurt his psyche, and you send him back down and all that. I think that's kind of behind it now. I think players are just coming up, and they're either good or they're bad. Like Painter. Painter's up and down now. I don't know. I said before, I don't think Painter is going to be everything he was going to be.
Should trade him in 2023, Jeff.
Unfortunately, we've lost out on his value. Unless he all of a sudden picks it up and this and that. But Aiden Miller, he's nothing. We don't know what he's going to be. He's a young kid with a bad back. Does that ever go away? I don't know. I had a bad back for many years.
Back injuries are no joke.
Yeah.
It makes or break you, literally.
And we've got what's his face out in center field, Crawford. I know it's his first season. He hasn't really per se really screwed anything up major, but he's not all that
shown us anything.
He's Johan Rojas part 2.
Yeah, what do you think of this question here? Here's our man Paul Spencer. He's a Braves guy. He says, "What's up, fellas? In your opinion, are they better than the Braves moving forward?"
As of right now, yeah.
The Braves were in a funk like we were for that period of time.
Yeah.
Strider sucks out the ass now. Whatever happened to him?
He's hurt.
Acuna, you don't know. He's fragile as China.
It's his knee.
Yeah.
Albies, you got like unsung heroes over there, but Chris Sales is probably the only thing they got going on for themselves.
Matt Olson.
You got Seal Iglesias, and then you got Riley, and then you got Olson.
I mean, Olson's like Freddie Freeman there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
See, not to pour cold water on the Phillies because they are playing extremely well, and obviously Kyle Schwarber hit his 30th yesterday, so that was key. But I'm not. I hate to say it because obviously I'm a huge Phillies fan, but I'm not willing. I know we're on a great run right now, but I'm not willing to say that we're better than the Braves moving forward. I think the Phillies need that bullpen piece, and I think they need another starter. Like I watched some of that game. I have the MLB extra innings, John, and I don't watch it much, but yesterday we were it's rare that I even watch it, but yesterday had a little bit of time. We had some company over, and then they left, and then we were kind of putzing around. So I put the Braves Giants game on, and there's a guy pitching, Robbie Ray, left-handed pitcher for San Francisco, and he's rumored to possibly be,
Available.
a guy that's attainable because he
Bring
makes
him over. I'm with it.
makes like $25 million a year. He's a free agent at the end of the year. The Phillies could add him on. It would add about, for half the year, I think it would add maybe like $10 to $12 million on the payroll. Might not cost all that much because it's a rental. But now that's a move I wouldn't mind making. I wouldn't mind getting a Robbie Ray. And then they have Harrison Bader. So maybe
No, I don't want him back. I don't want him back.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I hear you. I know he's not doing much. What I'm saying to you, though, I would rather get a better bat. Let's keep it real. I understand what you're saying because he's not having a great year. But if I could get Robbie Ray and take a flyer on Bader, not really have to give up that much, I'd bring him in, give him a look-see, because he did play well here. And the Giants fucking blow. So, yeah, he's playing like shit out there, but maybe coming to Philadelphia in a pennant race. He does seem like he's that kind of player that likes playing under the bright lights. Like I remember in 2022 with the Yankees, Harrison Bader had a few big hits too for New York. So he might just be that guy that like steps it up in some big moments. You know what I'm saying?
I'm afraid of Dombrowski because this is what Dombrowski has done so far. He brought in Tommy Pham into our minor leagues. Come on, dude. I mean, really? That's supposed to get us excited?
I hear you. I mean that did nothing. That did nothing for me. You know what I mean? That's like being in the bar at like 3:00 and you're hooking up with a grenade. Like I get you. You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, it doesn't hurt. If that's the big move, then yeah, it's very underwhelming. But I mean, to bring the guy in just to give him a look-see, like I guess. I wouldn't mind a Robbie Ray type guy, a bat that you could, a right-handed bat that you can put into the mix, here and there. Of course I want better. Let's keep it real, but we don't have a great minor league system.
That's the big problem. We don't have anybody that we can really get rid of at this point to get anybody.
I have a question for you guys. Yeah. So even if it took a top prospect like a Gabe Wood or some other highly rated Phillies prospects, is this the year to go all in? Would you move a couple of those? And I'll ask the people out there watching. Shout out to Mike Lauro. Hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing? Make sure you check Mike's show out on Sundays. But would you trade one of those big prospects to go get a
Struble?
No, I don't think they have enough to get Struble. Here's the guy. What if you could get Chapman? What if you could get Chapman to the bullpen, and the next thing you know,
I wouldn't give up Gage Wood for Chapman.
No.
Okay.
You already got one guy that can throw the ball fast. Alvarado, he's wild. Chapman can be wild, and you got what's his face around. You don't need all just fastballs. You need somebody that can throw the ball around. Sliders. You've got to have a couple pitches. Aroldis is basically just fastball.
Yeah, but I mean, well, I hear you. I mean, I don't really want to trade Wood either, considering that we don't have much of a minor league system. But see, you got that. See, that's funny. You guys are all saying Chapman isn't worth a top prospect, and I mean, I don't want to trade Wood either. Chapman is having a hell of a year, though. I mean, I know he blew the game last night, but Chapman. I mean, my only thing is if I don't want to do that either, but if there was a way I could get Chapman. I mean, you talk about, that would drastically upgrade your bullpen. I mean, if you think about it, when you have Sanchez and Wheeler going in those playoff games, and even Luzardo, if you could somehow get to if you could get through the sixth inning, all of a sudden that game's a lot shorter. You're bringing in a Chapman, you're bringing in Duran. You know what I'm saying? Like,
let me ask you both a question and be completely honest, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter who they pick up right now, okay? They could pick up Trout. They could pick up Scoob, whatever. Do you really, in your heart, No, I think they could make the playoffs. I definitely think that. I think that they have a possibility to jump the Braves and everything like that and all. But do you really think that they would make the World Series? In all honesty.
Yeah, honestly,
I know.
right hand to God, I think they can, but I think they need a little bit more. But no, I think they can. And if there was ever a year that they could make the World Series and make that run, I feel like it's this year. First off, Bryce Harper's playing at elite level again. Schwarber's on a pace for 59 to 60 home runs. Brandon Marsh is playing better than he's ever played. He's even hitting lefties, right?
Roman Stott, look at them.
What a shocking thing. Thompson doesn't put him in against lefties and says he doesn't hit good against lefties. But Madden puts him in against lefties, and what the hell's going on? The guy goes off.
But that's the thing, guys. I think we said it, that Mattingly knows how to put these guys in if and when needed, where Topper was that laid-back Canadian dude. Like, oh, you know what? He needs a break. You know, but like we all said, he knows how to switch this lineup. And Christ, what did he have? Marsh in the beginning of the week, leading off at the Washington National Series. So he does know what to do. That's what we like to see, the little tinkering and the moving of different players, that, like you said, Jeff, to see where and how they could play.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the only way you can wow. In any sport, you're not going to figure out what a guy can or can't do unless you put him out there. Yeah. That's it.
You know,
that's the Flyers' problem for a while there. They wouldn't play the rookies, and we lost them all. Half of them won Stanley Cups, not on our team, you know?
But you guys are right. Go ahead, Joey. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying that Kyle, Schwarber with the 30 home runs. Here's something that's
well, Mike, and Mike's thing here, Mike, you're right, but that's only if they could sign him to a long-term contract. Would I trade for Skubal?
Yeah, but the problem is, though, if you're Skubal's agent, I mean, if he only has a month or two to go to free agency, he's probably he's in baseball. Like
Dodgers,
I was going to say, it's very rare that these guys sign. But Schwarber, real quick, Schwarber has 217 home runs since he joined the Phillies. Only Judge has more. And in the history of baseball,
I've seen that.
Only Babe Ruth and Mark McGwire have hit more home runs in their first 5 years with the team. That's pretty impressive, you know.
It is. You got to remember. Look, yesterday's game they were losing, and I sat down to eat, and I'm like, holy shit! Schwarber just hit a home run. It's 5-4.
Yeah.
Now, like Jeff said, it's up to the bullpen. Was it rocky, like Kirk Ring, you know? But JT, he knows how to call a game, man. And, that's end of the story. 5-4. Deron gets his 21st save. The rest is history. But
yeah, I got some friends that tell me it's JT, he's got to go and this and that. I said, no. I said, you can't. I said, everybody.
That was a great game.
Everybody was crazy for what's his face, Ruiz, and Ruiz would hit the ball here and there and get his home runs and do that, and everybody loved him. A great game, and he's good back there. JT's the same way, and he'll get his hits here and there, but he calls a great game. He just knows what's going on, and hell, for a catcher, still he is pretty quick, which helps. Still got a good arm.
But just like you guys said, we need that right-handed bat, some relief help, and some kind of starting pitcher. For me, I would go with the Detmers guy at Anaheim Angels. I like him. But
who did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Detmers, Reed Detmers.
Oh, okay.
Detmers. Keep an eye on him.
At least it's not.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, at least it's not Ty Detmer.
They got they're tied to Taylor Ward coming here. I mean, I just want a good bat and a guy that's going to fit into this lineup, not just a panic move or something like that.
Yeah, I don't want to see Casty re-signed.
That's what they were saying, but
I know.
I'm right there with you. No, I get it. Him and Topper had a riff, but like you said, Jeff, with Bader, I don't want them back.
Mm-mm.
Just kind of get that other player.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I listen. I don't misunderstand me. Like I'm
Oh
not.
no! I got you.
I'm not advocating for Harrison Bader at all. I was just saying if you were going to get hypothetically, if you made a move for Robbie Ray, and Bader's playing like shit for the Giants, and you don't have to give up a ton, maybe you would bring him back. That's all I'm
I
saying.
know the other guy that they're looking at, which would really help, is that Suzuki or whatever at the Cubs. His game's been thrown around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would take his bat in a heartbeat.
Yeah, the only problem is though I think the Cubs aren't. I mean, they're still going for the playoffs though, aren't they?
Yeah, but they got such a deep bench. They got Bush, Paul Armstrong, Crow. I mean, he's doing great. You got Bregman, Carson Kelly. I mean, Dansby Swanson. Shit, with the doubleheader, he had 16 RBIs, grand slam,
huge,
triple. I went against him in fantasy, and I said to myself, "You get 64 damn points? How is this possible?" And then I look at it, I break it down, and I'm like, "Shit." But
all right.
We need something. It's basically what it is. We need something that's going to work, and not just a Tommy Pham type player.
Yeah, not a plug, like a guy that's going to help you in Red October. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that goes a long way with the player's psyche himself. If they don't see Dombrowski go out and do anything during this trade deadline area, I don't know if they'll. I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs. That could be disrupting to them because they're doing everything they can. You can see that.
I think a guy like Harper and a guy like Turner, or maybe even like Schwarber, say, "Hey, look, this is what we need."
You saw what Turner said. Remember what Turner said the other day to Marshy, just be yourself.
Yeah,
I mean that's
even what Harper said.
Right
exactly. Don't let it eat yourself up. But maybe they do say something to Dombrowski, like, "Look, man, I played with this guy, or so and so knows him, and we do make forth that effort of signing or doing something." Hopefully. So.
All right, so let's look ahead to this week. We got the I'll look at the Phillies schedule and the Braves schedule. So the Phillies have 4 with Pittsburgh, and then they have 3 in Kansas City. Off on Friday. So excuse me. 7 games. What's the Phillies' record in those 7?
Where are they playing? Are they home?
Well, it's 4 versus Pittsburgh here, and then it's 3 in Kansas City. Kansas City sucks. So, it's in Kansas City, but
any team can win any time. I say 5-2, and the reason I'm saying 5-2 out of 7 is because it's going to be hot as balls here. So it's going to be. It depends on how they play. You know what I mean? I mean, when I say hot, it's going to be hot. So you're going to have a couple of games in there that they're really going to be,
Yeah, I was going to say it's swampy as Central this week.
Your pitchers aren't going to be able to go 7 or 8 innings unless So you're going to have somewhere a bullpen in there, and there's where I get concerned. So I go 5-2.
Sean's going to roll the dice and say 6-1.
I would love it.
All right, now here's the kicker. All right, you know what? I'm actually going to say 5-2 also. All right, so
come on.
So if we go 5-2, Braves have 3 against the Cardinals. They host the Cardinals, and then they host the Mets. So the Braves have the Braves only have 6 because the Braves are off tonight. So what's the Braves record in those 6?
3-3.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm with them. I like it.
All right. So if the Braves are 3-3 and the Phillies are 5-2,
we could either be tied with them or leap them by a game.
Yep.
I think not only are the Braves.
No. If the Phillies go 5-2 and the Braves go, what do we say? 3-3.
3-3.
Yeah, so then we would pick up what, a game and a half, I think. So
Yes.
But I think the Braves, besides not playing very well, are feeling the crunch now of the Phillies on their ass.
Oh, they're feeling the breath behind their neck. Heck yeah.
And right behind that, I mean, they stink, but the Nationals and the Marlins are right behind us. They're not too far out either. They could all of a sudden have a push. Again, though, it's All-Star game hasn't gotten here yet. Still have a half a year of baseball, per se, half a season of baseball.
Yeah.
So it could go any way. And you got those long stretches where your team obviously has a bad
Absolutely.
stretch or, just goes on fire. Who knows?
And the Nationals and Marlins play home wreckers,
Yeah.
which you think, oh yeah, tonight we're gonna win. Nah, they come out and they somehow, some way win that game. But
When they play us next, they're going to do anything they can. They're going to put starting pitchers out there for relief just so they can beat us and not get caught.
yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, look, yeah, a lot of baseball left. All-Star games in a couple weeks. But we had a couple other interesting things happen in this city last week. The first one was the NBA draft, but I want to kind of get into the NHL draft actually first. Because the Flyers, the Flyers are rumored to be, in a lot of the rumors. I mean, what's that defenseman's name for Columbus?
Werenski.
Yeah, I mean, it would take a lot to get him, but he won the Norris. But I mean, shit, I would give up a lot to get him because that's one thing this team needs is a quarterback of the power play,
he's the kind of guy that would fit this team, Joey. Like you said, the culture, the team of like Philly.
Yeah.
You never know. Like maybe somebody can sell him like a used car salesman. But I'm with you on that. But it's going to take a lot.
You'd also have to give up a lot. I mean, to get a guy like him, I got to think you have to give up at least a Michkov, and a Michkov, a Forrester, maybe a defenseman like a Cam York or a Ristolainen, unless they trade Ristolainen somewhere else.
You're not going to need as many players. You're going to need picks. You're looking at maybe a big name like an Owen Tippett, or
right.
I can't do that,
or
dude. I just love the way
or
he
something. I don't want Tippett to go either, but his name, I know his name keeps cycling. Reading online, I'm finding more and more that's more bullshit than anything. Everybody throws up a story there just to get some feedback or whatever amount of money they're getting for their ads to be read. Because half the stuff's shit. Yeah. But like lately, I've been reading a lot of stuff on the hockey stuff, and Tippett's name was like he was all but traded there. They said he was going to be gone before the draft. He went nowhere. I think the Flyers know you can't get rid of him.
Hathaway went before him. You know what I mean? So that tells you something. Shit.
Yep. I think they have a pretty good core. The Flyers have, gotten into that. They got what do you call it? Darth has signed July 1st. He gets to sign a contract for 5 years. He's here, and Vol is a really good backup. He can be a starter. So they've got two good goalies. Problem they just drafted two goalies. I have no idea why they drafted two more goalies. There's so many goalies that are out there. I think they should have went after some more defense or offense. Unless they figured they're the best players on the board. But we've got so many goalies down there.
But I mean, Russian dudes and then the other two, Joey.
The Russians, those Russian guys are not going to come up. They're not going to make it here. They're done. They kind of had their chance and they run their course here. They'll go somewhere else and probably win a cup. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, like I like Tippett too, but I mean, if you're trying to get the Norris Trophy winner, you know what I mean? Like I mean that now that's a guy I would trade him for,
I know you can't
make sense.
You can't trade nothing to get something. I understand that.
You gotta give to get. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna. I mean, if you're gonna give players, you may give like Hathaway. I didn't want to see Hathaway go. I thought he was good back there.
Yeah. They trade him to the Florida Panthers, man.
Yep.
Now, how about one of the Flyers, not beat writers, but one of the Flyers reporters was saying that the Flyers may have interest. Where the fuck is he? Hang on. The Flyers may have interest in a restricted free agent.
Is Bork?
Yeah, Maverick, or I don't know how the fuck you say his name. Is it Maverick? I don't know. What's his Top Gun? Maverick, whatever.
Probably Maverick or something.
Yeah, Maverick Bork. He's 24 years old. He's a center. He plays both sides of the ice. He's only 24 years old. Like I said, he's a restricted free agent. So the max restricted free agent comp, it says here is $9.3 million. That would mean we'd have to give up a first, a second, and a third round pick to Dallas. Now Dallas would have a tough time matching that, especially if they keep Jason Robertson or if they trade Robertson for some money. I know it's a lot to give up for maybe a quote unquote unproven type guy, but that could be the kind of bold move that this team needs, because the Flyers right now, they have cap space, but they're not really in a position to get the top guys, because it seems like all the top guys want to go to like Florida or Texas or teams, places that don't have sales tax where they can keep most of their money. So, I mean, even if it cost, a first, second, and third, that's a lot to give up for one guy. But I would consider doing that for the simple fact that, maybe this guy comes here and he's not your number one defenseman, right? Your number one center right this second. But at 24, maybe he's ready to ascend into that role. Yeah, that's the kind of bold move that I think, I would be willing to take a shot on myself. Now, I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts?
When it comes to a lot of the players, in all honesty, we see what they do against us, and then we hear, let's say on Sports Center or whatever, what they've done, but we don't watch all these other teams and see the intangibles and the other shit that the scouts and all those people watch, and Jonesy and Briere watch. So we don't know. So if that's somebody that they're interested in, they obviously see something in him that we don't, that'll fit the scheme of this team.
Absolutely.
That's what happened this year with the team. The team made the playoffs, and how many guys did they go through and get rid of and drop and all that? They got the guys that fit together, and they made the playoffs and were impressive. Against Carolina, they were impressive. Even though they lost, Carolina wasn't going to get beat. I told you they were going to win the cup from the beginning, and they did. They're too damn strong. But that's
they suffocate you down in their corner, in your corner. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with especially with hockey, because there's so many European players, so many players that are down in the minors that should be playing in the NHL, and some of these NHL players just because of their name are up here. I think that they're seeing those guys differently, and being that Briere and Jonesy have played hockey and talk it, they know what they're looking for within the system. That's what's got me more confident now about the Flyers now than it did the last couple of years.
Because you got guys that know the players and how, because they played the game, plain and simple. Which is awesome.
And if you do so say you put an offer in like that, and it costs you a first, second, and third. Yeah, that's a lot to give up, but you're getting a 24-year-old center.
Yeah,
the Flyers have
something that we lack.
Yeah. Even after signing like Zegras and Vladar, the Flyers still have a good amount of cap room. So you're still in a position where if you trade Ristolainen for a draft pick, so say you trade Aristo for like a first or second pick, you're recouping one of which, by the way, I don't want to just give him away. He had a good year last year, but
absolutely.
Say you trade Aristo for like a first, second round pick, right? Well, you're clearing $5.5 million off the cap if somebody takes all his money.
Yep.
So then you would still be in a position to package say I would, to be honest with you, I don't want to trade Michkov, but if you told me right now I could trade Michkov, Toronto's first round pick, Cam York, and maybe a couple prospects or something, and get that Rowinski, I do that in a fucking heartbeat, because then all of a sudden, then you have a guy that could possibly be your number one center. Yeah, he's not proven it yet, but he gets an opportunity here at 24 years old, right? Then you get the top Norris Division defenseman, and then I at least I have a chance to actually improve the power play. And at that point, I'll tell you what, I would even consider bringing Giroux back for a 1 to 2 year contract. Let him retire here. I mean, I know he's a little long a tooth, but you want to fix the power play. Well, if you bring a number one defenseman here, the young 24-year-old kid, and you brought Giroux back, all of a sudden you got a chance to have a good power play again. They're the kind of bold moves I would look into doing.
I like Coots, but he needs to go. He had a good run in the playoffs, and he was playing hard, giving everything. But Coots' career is done here.
Do you think anybody? See, I don't see anybody taking that contract on, though. That's the only problem.
I see him as a throw-in. They might. I mean, I could see him as a throw-in. You got some teams out there that like some of those players like that, like him. He's got this. Even the teams that know they're not going to make the playoffs, they like those types of players.
Yeah, but but the only problem is though, if you throw it, see, I don't know if that helps the Flyers though, because if they tried throwing him in, they'd have to eat like a bunch of his salary. I feel like Coots. I mean, think about it though. Coots was one of the best players they had in that Pittsburgh series, in my opinion. I thought he played extremely well.
Yeah, he did play. He played well. That's the only time during the year though. It seemed like it was more of a liability. He just didn't have it. I don't know whether I don't know. I loved Coots, but he's just
he's old. He's worn out his time.
He's just he's not going to get the on ice time and everything. But I think if they can pull it off and somehow pull it off, and I don't put anything past it, I would love to get Austin Matthews in here. I would give them Michkov. I would give them Owen Tippett. I'd give them a first round pick. I would take Austin Matthews in here in a heartbeat because he's worn his welcome out in Toronto.
He has nothing to like. He's exhausted up there. Plain and simple.
Yep.
But do you think though that the only problem is though unless he asks Al, do you think they might possibly keep him because they did get the number one pick? They could. Yeah. I mean, McKenna's a winger.
McKenna kid, I know. Yeah, but
it really depends on what they're doing,
Joey.
Yeah. Depends on
what you're doing. What would you do if you're Matthews?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's me, shit, I'd be like, yo, trade me to the Flyers because I'm a Flyers fan. But I mean,
if you're not like that,
I mean, honestly, I know Toronto stunk this year, but I mean, bro, they got like this. If this McKenna kid's really good, like, I mean, honestly, if I were him, I might just stay there and see what happens.
He's not one guy. McKenna's not going to get them. McKenna's not going to get them to the Stanley Cup. McKenna's might help them get to the playoffs. I don't know. They just stink. They stink. They really are in a rebuilding right now. They need a whole.
Then if I'm Matthews, then I probably would want to get to like a team like Tampa Bay, Florida, or like Dallas, where I can make the most money because there'd be no sales tax. See,
and that's a big thing. And you're right. If I was a big player like that, you're right. I would want to go to a team that I know could make the playoffs and could possibly win it all. But then you have to look at those teams and say, do they have the player? Not him personally, but the GMs have to look and say, do they have the money and the players that we need from them? They might not. So that's where the Flyers actually are in a good spot this year because they do have the money.
Right.
That's the big thing. A lot of those big ass contracts are going, but they're Jonesy and Briere are. I guess they're doing the smart thing. They're sitting there figuring out what they want to do, and they're not spending wildly on stupid shit, which is good.
Yeah, I keep saying sales tax. I mean state tax. Because in hockey, these teams are. A lot of people have been writing about it too because. These Florida teams and these Texas teams and these, because, let's keep it real. The hockey guys don't make quite as much. So if you're getting the shit taxed out of you on like, say, 9-10 million, there's a big difference. Like if you're an NBA player, I mean, it still blows too. Like I think I was reading something where like Jalen Brunson makes like what, $40 million a year, but he barely, he gets so much of that shit taken from him from being in New York with all the fucking taxes.
Yeah, but he's also got think about all the what do you call it he gets. what do you call that when you the advertisements? I mean, all the what do you call it?
Royalties.
No, I hear you on him. He probably was a bad example because he gets the royalties.
But you're just talking like the average player.
I'm talking about the average guy. You know what I mean? Like $7 million in Texas is more than like $9 million in like California. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a big fucking.
Look at what the Ducks have done. They traded Carlson. They just traded their captain today. Yep. I mean, they're wheeling and dealing everybody. That's a perfect example, like you're saying, Joe.
Yeah, the Ducks just traded Mason McTavish. What was it, St. Louis? I think because the Flyers were interested in, rumored to be interested in him. But anyway, and then real quick, because I want to move on to the Sixers too. But what's your guys' opinion, or any opinion on this defenseman? Does it look like? I'll tell you the one thing: the Flyers, they really addressed the defense in the draft. I think they drafted at least 3 defensemen. Their first 2 picks were defensemen. But the first pick, they traded down from 21 to 27. They took Maxim Sokolovsky. He's like 6'7", 240 pounds. A lot of people were kind of criticizing it, saying that he has a good floor but not much of a ceiling, is what I was reading. Like basically he's his potential is a top 4 defenseman, but not really like a number 1 guy. Like any thoughts on him?
They say, well, being so tall, he's got to have big ceilings.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm sorry, that was bad.
Yeah, you can't get. I was gonna say, yeah, I know. I was gonna say there's certain cars out there you can't buy. They'd have to get the jaws of life to get them the fuck out.
They'll give him Shaq's cars. You see, takes the seat out and uses a milk crate to sit on his seat.
Yeah. Now, obviously, he's not fat like the Nutty Professor. But remember the Nutty Professor where Buddy Love turned into Sherman Clump, and they're like, "Fuck, man, I never had to use the jaws of life to get a dude out without an accident."
I remember that.
You know what I mean? Shit, that dude's
I don't know much about this kid, but things that I've read after they drafted him and whatever. To me, I mean, every player in a way, has an upside. And every player that gets drafted could also be total shit. You really don't know what you're going to get. The kid's
hit or miss, yeah.
He seems to, in his mindset, he knows he has a lot to work on, but he seems to have a good attitude. He seems to not worry so much about all the way on offense. He seems to want to be more of a defensive player. He's got the height. If he can just be skillful enough to like clear guys out in front of the net, and if he's got a shot, they say he's got a good shot from the point which would help on the power play, then that's good. I'll take that. I mean, look what Ghost did. Ghost did great here one year. The team changed it a little bit. He didn't fit into the way that they wanted because they wanted him to play more stay at home and not shoot so much. Then they traded him out, and what's he been in like 4 championships now? I mean,
yeah.
So you really don't know. I think it was a good chance to take. Reading what was out there for them. They say there was some offensive guy that they should have taken, but they need defense, like you said. We've got enough offensive guys out there, and you just don't know.
I'll be honest with you. When it comes to the hockey draft, I mean, I read some stuff, but I'm not gonna front and act like I know who the fuck these guys are. I mean, I see a 6 foot. I mean, let's keep it real, man. I see a 6'7" defenseman with a Russian name. I'm like, you know what? Good pick. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, because I don't know. You know what I mean?
You think of Chara. I think of Chara, and if he can be just a partially like him, good pick.
Yeah, well,
that's who they compared him to.
Yeah. Well, there's another guy, 6'9", who got drafted.
From
taller defenseman. Yeah, he's taller than Chara.
Well, you were talking about guys that shoot a lot, so I wanted to get in some basketball. But real quick, here's a guy that shoots, or at least carries guns and shit. Paul Spencer says John Morant headed to the Trailblazers. Thoughts? Great talent, but acts like a kid off the court. Tell you what, I actually think that's a good move for both teams because I looked at what
change the scenery.
You talk about a kid that needs a change of scenery. It's John Morant. And by the way, it's actually really ironic that the Trailblazers got him, because I just watched the documentary on the Jailblazers about a month ago. So it's like, they're going right back to, to I guess that. But I mean, I feel like that's a trade that can help either team. I mean, like you said, Sean, John Morant needs a change of scenery. I kind of like what Memphis is doing a little bit. I like Memphis took Boozer. Memphis is trying to go in a different direction, a different culture. So I think it makes sense for them. And if you're the Blazers, I mean, in all honesty, you gave up like Jeremy Grant and a few other assets. I mean, if John Moran has his head on straight, he's a great talent. I mean, I don't see, and who the fuck signs in Portland? Nobody signs in Portland. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I'm a Trailblazers guy, I'm like, yo, I can't get shit for free agents. I'll take a chance on John Moran. If he pans out, great. If he doesn't, well, what the hell? I'm mediocre as fuck anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Trey Turner just home runs, 1-0.
Finally, he's the one who needs to step it up in our back right now.
Paul Spencer says, jaw double fisting guns will be their new logo. Hey, maybe he pans out. So, but all kinds of stuff going on in the NBA. The Sixers had the 22nd pick. I love their pick. I know, Sean, you and I were texting back and forth. Like, in a perfect world, I wanted to stretch for, a guy, 6'9", 6'10" guy that could really board and shoot. But this guy was sitting there, probably was the best guy on the board. I mean, last year he shot 40% on catch and shoot threes. He shot, 50% from the field. He can handle the ball. He can distribute. I love the pick. LeBaron Philon Jr. And I love his attitude too. I saw him. He was on like a TikTok or somebody's podcast, and he was talking about how he wants to cook that guy Seguin from Houston. And I'm sorry, I love that kind of shit. I like the youthful exuberance. And it sets up a very interesting 3-guard rotation here in Philly between, Tyrese Maxey, you got VJ Edgecombe, of course, and now you got this kid coming off the bench. And even though we need a backup center, and we need a stretch four, and we need rebounding, one of the biggest needs on this team is they did need another guard. I mean, Tyrese Maxey and VJ were playing like 40-some minutes a night. Yeah. And that Knicks series, I mean, they were fucking exhausted. So what's your guys' thought? Any thoughts on this pick? And then we'll get into, some possible free agency stuff for the Sixers.
How about Ben Simmons coming back?
You know what? I'm so glad. I'm so glad you brought that up, because first off, let's keep it real. I don't see it happening. So that's number one.
Yeah, and Mr. Salty probably not coming here. But go ahead.
Well, I also doubt that our new GM is going to have one of his first moves bringing Ben Simmons back. So that's probably not going to happen. But can I be honest with you, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would fucking do it. I would do it because and only for the vet minimum. And I couldn't stand the prick at the end, obviously, because he wanted out of Philly, and he made the biggest pussy ass move I've ever seen in my life, passing up that dunk. But the reason I would do it, though, I would bring him back on a vet minimum deal. Hopefully that his ass got humbled, because motherfucker ain't playing basketball. He's winning fish competitions, right? So I would
let me catch this fish.
I would bring his ass in for the vet minimum. Yeah. And honestly, I would let him be like a Draymond Green, because the Sixers said they want Tyrese Maxey to play off ball, right? They want Tyrese to have to play off ball a little bit more. So you could have Ben Simmons. You could basically have Ben Simmons playing a point forward, or in some cases, with the million games that Embiid misses, Ben Simmons could play a small ball 5, and he could actually handle the ball. You could run your offense through Ben Simmons and play Maxey, the kid from Alabama, when he's on the court, or VJ Edgecombe all off ball. I actually think it'd be very intriguing. And if he has nothing left, who gives a shit? You gave him a vet minimum. I would bring him in. I would. What you guys dead set against it or no?
Ain't gonna happen. I see your point, but it's not going to happen. I see your point with what he could do, but he burned his bridge here by things that he said and done. I just don't see it happening. And like you said, the GM is not going to bring him in.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. Maybe another team does what you're saying. Who knows? But who knows?
Hello, Miami Heat. Miami Heat, if you're there, please pick me up.
Yeah, there you go. Then you can fish while in between games.
And you know what'll make me sick. And I get it. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm saying I'm just making the argument of why I don't think it's as terrible of idea, especially on a vet minimum as other people would. But Maurice Wright's asking who's getting the rebound. So, all right, now the Sixers don't have a ton of money in free agency. We have a few of our own free agents. You got, of course, Kelly Oubre Jr. You have Grimes. They just brought Barlow back to I think a 1 year, $3 million deal. But so here's a few guys out there that I would be interested in, and I kind of read the Sixers might be interested in. So first off, what is it? Dean Wade from Cleveland is to me, it's a very intriguing name. He's like 6'9". He can shoot the ball. He could play a stretch four. But here's one I kind of like. Atlanta has a center, Australian center, Jock Landale. I think he might cost a little bit more than we're thinking. But if you don't keep Kelly Oubre and you don't keep Grimes, that's an interesting name. I wouldn't mind taking a chance on him. And maybe you could get him because you could sell him on the fact, yo, dude, Embiid's only going to play like maybe 50 games max. So you could start at least half the games, and then the other games he's the backup. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then Toronto has a guy.
Yeah.
I can't even say his name. It's like
he's a Serbian dude. Just say that. There you go.
The Serbian dude on Toronto. It's like Moses Lavo or some shit. But anyway, he's 6'10". He can handle the ball. He could shoot. I like him. Another guy, Marvin Bagley III. I wouldn't mind taking a shot on him. He had a decent year for Washington. He won't cost you a lot. You know, he can play small ball 5. He could play a stretch 4. You know, I mean,
he's local too, you know.
He's what?
He's local.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I think he's like 6'8", 6'9". I mean,
6'9".
It's kind of you know, it's kind of frustrating that those are the only kind of moves the Sixers can make. You know, when you see the Miami Heat getting Giannis, and you see, you know,
Detroit making moves, yeah,
yeah, you see Detroit making moves and all this shit, you know. But I don't know. There are some guys out there. I think there are some of these fringe guys that the Sixers could get that, you know, could really help this team. And, you know, another guy the Sixers are rumored to be interested in, but I just don't see it happen, is John Collins. Because I think I could see him going to like a more legitimate contender. But do you guys have a wish list? Like, I guess the question would be, would you just go and sign Grimes and Oubre, or would you let them walk and then try to get some of these like stretch 4s and stuff? Like, what's your guys' thoughts?
I want both the guys that you said, the guy from Cleveland and the Australian dude. That's who I would like. You know, we'll see what happens. See you later, Grimes. See you later, Oubre. See what happens. That's my choice.
Yeah, I'm okay. I know the Sixers liked Grimes, but to me, I saw enough out of him. Like, he's a good athlete. He could score. He looks like the kind of guy to me that's like a numbers guy that on a shitty team. You know how you watch basketball and you see these guys on these teams that blow, and you'll be like, oh, he looks pretty good. He averages 20 to 25, but then you put him on a winning team, and you're like, yeah, he ain't it. To me, Quentin Grimes is that. Like, You know, when we sucked ass a couple years ago when everybody was hurt, Grimes was nice. He was getting like 25, 30, but we were losing, and now
True.
you put him on a good team last year, which, I know the Sixers got swept by the Knicks, but the Sixers were a pretty good team last year. I mean, you can't beat a shitty team and beat the Celtics. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
True.
You know what I mean? So, but Quentin Grimes really wasn't it. What do you guys think? Here's another move I wouldn't mind doing. Oklahoma City has a center, Tom Sorber, that they picked in the first round last year. Now, Oklahoma City,
local kid went to Ryan.
Yeah, he went to Ryan. So, that Oklahoma City needs as much cap space as they can get. Now, obviously, they don't want to give him away. I think he was like the 14th or 15th pick in the draft.
Yes.
But I would consider calling them and offering them like a future, even if it was a future first round pick, but I would see if they would take it if it was like, lottery protected. Like, in other words, if you could pry him away for, say, like a top say 14 protected first rounder or something. You know what I'm saying? And then you bring a guy like him in, So I don't know. What's your any thoughts, Jeff, or you don't really give a shit?
I don't really give a shit. I'm sorry. I'm just they need
players.
I'm just not as interested in it. I love the Sixers, but I'm just not interested in what's going on now. I want to see what this guy does. They need to change things up a little bit. And I know some of the names of the players that you're talking about or whatever, but I don't know. I just soured on it to the point where they need to reel me back in.
True.
And I'm just not there. I'm just not there.
Absolutely.
Be honest. Just being honest.
Listen, I get it. I mean, you look at the Paul George contract and you're like, shit, we got to pay him 2 more years. You look at the Embiid contract.
That extension was dumb as shit.
Yeah, no, I realize it. I mean, it's a nightmare. And then it frustrates you because, you look at Tyrese Maxey, you look at Edgecombe, it's going to get better and better. Yep. I'm very intrigued by the kid from Alabama. Because a lot of people say in a lot of other drafts he would have been, he could have even been maybe a top 10, 11 pick. So I'm intrigued by the kid from Alabama. So, going forward, this team has 3 exciting guards, So, but the one thing, this guy Gansey, he's known for finding talent on the fringes. So my only hope is that maybe they can get a guy like a Dean Wade, comes in here, plays well. Maybe you make a bold move for not necessarily a Sorber, but, a young guy that maybe needs an opportunity, that starts all the games and B doesn't play, and maybe he develops. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only way they're going to get better. And, that's the hope, But
True.
I wanted to throw some quick, bad news and wish the guy the best. What's his face? Chris Johnson, 39.
Yeah.
Came out today with say he has ALS and he can just about not say any words whatsoever. He was one guy who I remember was obviously a great player, but he was one of those ones that would stay after games, sign autographs till everybody was gone. He was just an overall nice guy. And you have these assholes like Antonio Brown, who I don't wish it on anybody, but he was just a jackass. And you have a guy like this who's just, the kids can look up to him and what he was, and he has ALS, and it's not going to get any better. It's just a shame.
Yeah, it is a damn shame, and I always think he was number 28, and I think he ran a 4. If memory serves me right, is he one of the guys that ran a 4.2840?
Yeah.
Remember, he had 2 back-to-back. Was it 2 back-to-back 200-yard games or something?
Yeah.
All I gotta say is he won me some fantasy games.
For sure.
Yeah, I know it's a damn shame, and then you almost wonder if there, this is a conversation for another day because we're going to wrap up here, but it does make you wonder if there's a correlation. I mean, you look Kevin Turner, the guy Gleason from the Saints, the dude. There was a guy from Baltimore, I can't remember his name, but he was on the 2000 Ravens team. And now of course you got Chris Johnson, and And Steve McMichael. I think Steve McMichael had ALS.
Yeah.
Memory serves me
Yes.
right. He just passed this past year. So, it
It's a
does make
horrific disease.
Yeah, it horrible disease, and yeah, I mean, I know, great friend of our family and guy from my fantasy football league. I mean, he passed of it, about it's going on 15. No, it's going on 16 years ago now. So I mean, it's horrible disease, and it's really, really sad and debilitating, and so prayers to Chris Johnson, but. But anyway,
that soccer player too. I was going to say, it's been a bad week, and that soccer player, his wife and kids died in one of the buildings in Venezuela while I was playing soccer here.
I know that's horrible. Well, prayers out to him,
prayers to them. I saw that too.
Yeah, but thanks to everybody for checking us out.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll probably, unless the Sixers or Flyers make a big move, we'll probably come back in a couple weeks. And happy 4th. I hope you happy 4th,
man.
Stay hydrated this week and make sure your AC works wherever you're at.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but all right. Well, listen. Have a great week, everybody. Happy 4th, and we'll see you probably in a couple weeks. Go Phils.
Go Phillies, baby.
That's it.
Strong, let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, out of the box where the wild ones play. We see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. Alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the